Welcome fellow Rimworlders! Have you been wanting some amazing advanced mechs in Rimworld? Well, now they're here. Today, we'll be looking at everything you need to know to use the XVI Mechframes mod by Anti XJ, Billdoors, and AOBA. This mod adds in 4-manned Mechframes that will dominate the battlefield with their unique weapons and skill sets, protecting your colony and bringing an end to your enemies. Alrighty, so let's get into it and meet the mechs themselves. Our first mech we will look at is the Crow. This mech is the first available and will be our heavy weapons specialist. The Crow is equipped with a heavy machine gun, and its special abilities include a rocket barrage to rain death upon your enemies, a one-way shield barrier to protect you against ranged attacks while still allowing you to fire out, and lastly, it has a shock wave blast to damage any melee attackers that get within range. Up next, the Our Mechframe is a total hoot and will provide us with long-range support. It is armed with a compound lance which has 2 modes. The first mode is the speed mode, which will allow you to rapidly fire charged rounds within a short to medium range. The second mode is a precision mode, which will allow you to fire a single deadly accurate laser at the brain of your enemies. This will also cause freezing damage to inflict more wounds upon your enemy, and man, I would hate to be at the other end of this one. The Owl's special abilities include the Arctic Gale, which will damage your enemies and turn their blood into ice needles within that area of effect. It also has the Ice Flood ability, which will send out ice spikes which can be used as cover or to hurt your enemies when they try to cross them. All in all, this is one deadly mech. Thirdly, we have the Falcon. This mech frame is armed with dual plasma blades and packs quite a punch. Its special abilities include an increased attack speed, which is leveled up by attacking enemies, bullet reflection, which will bounce rounds back at the enemy shooter for a time, and charged assault, which will turn them into an anime mech god, zipping between all the enemies within a zone, slicing their hopes and dreams into nothing. And lastly, we have the Sparrow, which plays the role of our tech specialist, which every team needs. The Sparrow is equipped with a light machine gun and 3 drones. These drones are armed with a machine gun and will automatically focus fire with the Sparrow. They can also be deployed to an area to either act defensively and create a shield barrier, or aggressively entering melee combat to close with and destroy the enemy. All these mechs come with an assisted combat module, which when turned on, will allow them to attack enemies in range automatically. They will even use the appropriate special abilities as they are available. So, for example, the Crow will automatically fire upon enemies in range. If it's shot from a distance, it will deploy its shields, and if it's hit by a melee unit, it will fire the shockwave. This is just some amazing work by the modders, but they haven't stopped there. To survive the harsh combat conditions of the Rim, these mech frames are protected by a layer of regenerating shields, the blue bar, and backed up by non-regenerating armor panels, the orange bar. To repair the armor, you will need to replace that armor module by going to builds on an unmanned mech frame and hitting replace armor. To be able to pilot these mechs, your colonists will need to have at least 8 intelligence, and if they have a mental break in it, they will auto-eject so they won't have a mech to help them in their murderous rage. Now we know about the mechs and their special features, so let's look at how to build our very own mech frames. These mechs will cost you an arm and a leg, but they are well worth it. You are able to build the modules needed to create these amazing mechs at a fabrication bench, while construction of the mech frame is conducted automatically via an assembly bay, which must be connected to an assembly nexus, freeing your crafter from the lengthy building process. When you start building a mech, it will appear as the Crow mech frame, even if you selected a different one, but don't worry though, because once it's finished construction, it will change to the mech that you chose. There is no chem fuel required for these mech frames since they run on electricity. They are either charged at the assembly bay, or you can directly replace a rechargeable battery by heading to builds and clicking on replace battery. You can make these batteries at a machining workbench, but you will need to have them fully charged before you can use them. To do this, just put them inside a battery charging station and wait. You are also able to upgrade the mech further by going to the builds tab on a powered down mech and clicking on the upgrades that you would like. The available upgrades are a heavy-duty battery to increase your power capacity, a field supply module to allow your pilot to eat and rest in the mech, a solar panel to charge the mech while stationary, and a combat recreation module, which creates a luxurious and entertaining environment for your pilot. Yes, these mechs are epic and advanced, but the arms race will never end, so the enemies have their own weapons to threaten your new mechs. These weapons include a pulse rifle, which fires a salvo of pulse rounds followed by a grenade at the end of the salvo, a thermoblade which will bypass the mech shields, the AMGR rocket launcher, which is a disposable 4-round rocket launcher system, and finally the Anti Mech rifle, which has 2 high caliber round magazines which are specifically designed to deal triple damage to the mech frame armor. Now, let's take a look at the mod settings. There are a number of mod settings available that you can change depending upon your preferences. For example, you can change friendly fire to be on or off. You can choose for colonists to put their weapons in their inventory instead of leaving it on the ground when they enter a mech. You can lock the drafted status for pilots once they've entered the mech so they are always ready for combat. And you can also set the pilot to leave the mech in the nearest fabrication bay once they've been undrafted. Now, the question I know so many of you have been wondering, is this mod Combat Extended compatible? And the answer is, yes it is! Congratulations all you Combat Extended fans out there. If you enjoyed this video or I made you smile, why not like and subscribe? I'm bringing out new videos all the time to spice up your Rimworld. Make sure you check out this video here for another fantastic mod. Now, go out and thrive in the Rim.